You guys, you got to understand this lecturer at Yale. You know, she's fighting very serious mainstream oppression.
That's true.
Yeah, I know.
You know, just recently we have this viral video, this viral meme that's been going around for some time.
That's true.
Skittles. I don't know if you guys know that Skittles.
Oh boy,
This is a tough
Absolutely, it's a neo-Nazi organization.
Racist company.
Wait, taste the rainbow?
We have. We have this
Not
photo.
anymore.
We're not tasting the rainbow.
We have this
no.
photo,
Oh.
and it's a bag of Skittles. It's all white, and it says Skittles White Pride.
It's white.
Literally.
It's what the Skittles
Wait,
white.
The
Pride
Skittles
Month,
are
yeah.
white.
For
Or
Pride
gray?
Month.
They're literally white.
They're
white
And it
Skittles,
says,
bro.
and it says on the not on the Skittles bag, but on the label at the Spar store, it says Skittles White
White?
Pride.
It says that?
Yes.
It does, yeah.
They want to do something unique for Pride Month.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
but think about this. Like, okay,
Skittles.
joking aside, Skittles thought it was appropriate to remove all of the colored ones to replace all of the Skittles with just white ones. I'm like, that is the stupidest marketing campaign I have ever heard of.
Here's the thing, it is really dumb, but then again, we are talking about them. Every single company does this Pride Month stuff, and I guess Skittles is like, we're gonna shake it up. And what did they say? This is
We're
the
gonna
shake it up. Like, this is the only rainbow that matters. Or they said something, only one rainbow matters
Yep.
this month.
So,
And I'm thinking the
so,
promise God made to not flood the earth again, because that's what the rainbow is for. But then it got stolen, and now it's just a cheap marketing gimmick that every company uses in June. A lot of
Dude,
fun.
can we just Skittles? Like, they made a bag of white Skittles.
I know, it's just-
They removed the colored Skittles. Like, I don't know what they were thinking this was supposed to be. They should have just been like, you know, like, this is the rainbow, whatever. We're
June
proud,
is
I
the
don't know.
perfect month for
What if-
Skittles.
what if the-
Taste the rainbow. Come on, guys.
Exactly. They could be like, look, we were supporting Pride all along since the
Yes.
brand started existing. We've always been about the rainbow.
They-
That's what we were trying to tell you
But
guys.
wait, here's what's funny, right? So you see how all these brands change their Twitter accounts?
Yeah.
So they put, like, you know,
know where
rainbow
you're
logos.
going.
But then in Saudi Arabia, they don't.
Yeah.
Skittles decided to go the complete other direction. Because, like, it's one thing to change your logo. It's one thing to do nothing. It's another thing to be like Skittles White Pride.
I see where they were, what they meant, because you know when
Yeah,
you look
for
at
sure.
white,
It's-
you have white light and white pigment. White pigment is just white pigment with no other color. White light is all the color together. So in a rainbow, you mix all the colors together, you get white light, which isn't really white. It's just clear. There is no, you can't see color.
I don't think they were thinking that.
No, well, obviously
they're
not.
not smart.
I think they were
They
just
didn't have a
like-
scientist on board.
That's right.
It was just probably some 23-year-old kid who was like sitting there like, why don't we take the rainbow out and then make all of the Skittles white?
Like,
and
that's a really good
idea. That's so
That's
smart.
His
inclusive.
coworkers are like, that's really smart, man.
Dude, you were thinking.
You
No,
got
it really-
future here.
You ever hear the story of how Flaming Hot Cheetos got made?
Negative.
No.
I think it was like you know the story?
I was going to say Hillary Clinton got to him.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, it was
It's in my bag. Hot
so
sauce.
this is a crazy story. Apparently, it was like a janitor, right? And the CEO or something put out a company-wide message saying, we respect all of our employees. You know, to that being said, if anybody has any ideas, we're always listening. And so this one dude who worked there, he would always take the dry Cheetos with no cheese on them, and they were extras. He'd bring them home and he would put chili powder on them and shake them up. And it was a lot like some kind of Mexican snack, not necessarily elotes, but something like that. And so then when his family started trying it, they were like, you should tell them. And so then apparently like made a video or something and sent it in. And everybody at the company was like, what are you doing? Don't send this. The CEO isn't serious. And then when they got the message and they saw this and they realized that people really like the snack, they were like, let's try making it. Let's make it. And it's like the number one, or it became the number one like chip snack that was sold in stores. So this guy got promoted, became this high level 6-figure dude. They really meant it. It's one of the coolest stories ever.
Yeah, that is
Great.
great, actually.
This one's got to be
Good
the
story.
opposite. Like some kids like, I got a really good idea for diversity and pride. Get rid of all of the colored Skittles.
You know,
Here's the question, though. I mean, we're making fun of them for it, but has this been negatively received? Or are they doing well?
I tweeted an image that says Skittles White Pride.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think Skittles is having a good day of this.
I hate when that
Maybe. You
happens.
never know, dude. People could buy into it. They could be like, this is a great Skittles. That was very brave Skittles. Dude, I wish I was a I was a multi-million-dollar corporation so I could like fight oppression with like junk mail about BLM and Pride.
I'm sure you're right that there are many identitarians who are cheering this, just like the left cheers for all their little corporate logos. I'm sure there are a certain a certain racial identitarian group that's very happy that Skittles made a white pride bag.
you know,
Yeah.
This is a
Dude,
problem I have.
all their logos are white, by the way. I just looked at their Twitter.
Oh,
I'm
did
sorry.
they change it to
Wow.
gray? Did they change them to gray as part of the backlash?
Oh, bro, this is the worst thing ever. They also their top tweet right now, or most recent tweet, second one most recent is, "Hey Samsung girl." They get us fellow kids, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you guys
they
see this?
do.
The Samsung
That's
girl
good.
that everyone was like
That's
fawning
gonna
over
end
for
really
no
well.
reason.
Oh, they
Yeah.
made them gray. They changed it.
Yeah, this
they made
year
the
they're
Skittles
gray.
gray.
That was fast.
Yeah.
We were ready.
Well, I think calling them colored Skittles was probably the mistake in the first place.
I would say so.
And
Yeah.
I have an inappropriate joke. Can I say it?
No.
How?
Well, no,
There's like a
inappropriate.
scale. Is it family friendly?
Yeah.
No. You know what? It's my reputation on the line. What do you call colored Skittles?
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
no.
no,
I don't
think
know.
you did that.
Delicious.
Don't do
Yeah,
this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Delicious,
Don't do
yes.
this. Don't do this.
Ian was correct.
Oh.
This is a problem I have with calling people. Oh wait, do you want to answer that
No.
joke? I think it's too
Nope,
risky.
nope, nope.
We're not.
Let's
Don't
save
do
the
it. I
didn't even say
punchline.
it. I
Let's
didn't
save the
say it.
punchline for the after show. Oh wait, is there going to be? I don't
No,
think there's going to be an after show.
Friday, yeah.
Oh, there's no after show on Fridays.
Oh yeah. You get it easy.
Let me
George cracked
derail
himself
this one real quick.
I didn't even say the joke. All right.
up. Derail it quick, Ian.
This is a problem I have with calling people black and white. Is that firstly we're not, and then when people try and market like white candy, all of a sudden it's considered racist, which is insane
I
because
think
there
it
are
was
no
also-
white
No,
people
it's
in
the
the.
stupidest thing.
I think
It's stupid.
Yeah. Agreed.
Thank
I
you,
think it was.
guys.
I don't think it was just that it was just white candy, but like white. If people were upset about this, I think like the combination of white and pride together might have.
Yeah, we
If
had.
people were upset. I
Wait,
think both of those
isn't this
together
supposed to have to
could
do with
been.
sex somehow? Sexuality?
Skittles?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the rainbow taste.
Talk about tasting the rainbow.
Oh
but-
yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Man.
Every joke I have is rated R. I'm
Come
so
on,
sorry.
George.
So
Yes.
Ian is wearing the. Are you wearing the
Oh,
OG
yeah.
gorilla
This is
shirt?
the OG. I am a gorilla. Here, let me stand up and get this on.
Oh,
We
yeah.
when we first made this shirt, many of you may not be familiar. The shirt was misprinted, where for some reason Teespring made the face of the gorilla darkened black, but only the inside of the face, so it looked like it was paint. And the hands were white, which makes no sense because it's just a gorilla. And it was like, what a weird thing to do, to paint the face of the gorilla black and give him white hands. It's strange. And so it created this huge controversy. And then, Teespring fixed it and apologized. But I was pissed off. A lot of people were messaging me saying like, why is there a blackface gorilla shirt? Like, what is this? And I'll be like, dude, clearly we don't sell that. That is not, it's just meant to be a meme about the show. It's an inside joke about Alex Jones. And then I started getting lefties. Once I called it out saying like, this is not our mistake, the lefties were like, having a gorilla t-shirt was racist enough.
Oh.
What?
No joke.
That's
and I was like,
extremely racist.
I
to
know,
say.
I know.
That's a ridiculously racist thing
Yeah.
to say.
Apes
Oh
together
my
strong,
God.
never forget.
I was like, dude, it's like Magilla Gorilla isn't a race thing. It's a cartoon. It's like having a shirt that says I'm a gorilla was a reference to Ishmael. Is no reference to race. If you see that and think race, man, you got problems.
You have
But
serious
hold on.
problems.
These people say they're racist. Like Robin DiAngelo, she wrote a book about it. She says she's racist. Well, there you go. They're not
That's the
lying.
thing.
That's true.
She walked into a party and saw the group of black people and said, "You know what? I'm scared of those."
That's a
people."
true story, though. She said
literally
that.
true.
She
She
literally
said
wrote
that.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's like a foremost expert and lecturer on critical race theory. She wrote in her book that when she goes to parties with black people, she's uncomfortable around them. And I'm
What?
like, dude, lady,
What a
like,
weird thing to say.
Original sin, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people like most people don't feel that way.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I don't know, man. Is this something I'm missing? Like, I grew up in Chicago, so I don't think of the world that way, and she's from the suburbs or something. Or
I
what?
don't
Yeah.
know but even though I mostly grew up in the suburbs and I don't feel that way. I think it's just a weird putting race on a pedestal type thing where you're gonna evaluate people on that basis for better or for worse. I mean, it's the way the left has said that we should analyze people, and she's on the left, so that's how she's going to look at everybody. She's going to put them in those categories, and if she feels uncomfortable, maybe it just becomes, well, I must be uncomfortable because of that person's race, because I've internalized racism. Or maybe she actually just like straight up is racist. I don't know.
I'll tell you this.
course she is.
I went
Yeah.
to.
well, yes,
I
she
was-
obviously is, of course, but you get what I mean.
I was in Thailand during Chinese New Year in, I think, 2014. And I was standing in this market where there were like thousands of people all in the streets doing their thing. I could see clean all the way, like everybody was shorter than me. So I was standing, with my friends, and I had clear field of view all the way down the market. And it's an interesting thing, when these people say that like race is a social construct, and then you go to Thailand and you're like, then I go to Scandinavia and I'm in a crowd and I can't see anything at all because everyone's 7 feet tall. No, it's true though.
You
It's-
just thought they were because
like
you
if-
internalized racism.
But I wonder if a big component of this, of like Robin DiAngelo's fear, is that she's never been. You know what I mean? Like
Interesting.
she's never actually interacted with these people. And so if these people who think race doesn't exist ever actually travel to another country, they might be like, hey, like people here tend to be a little shorter, people here tend to be a little taller, and hey, guess what? In America, race is not you have no reason to be uncomfortable. It's like the weirdest thing to be uncomfortable about, in my opinion. Like, what about that does she not feel comfortable with? You know what I mean?
Reminds me of male feminists who want to hang out around other women. Like, listen, I'm a pig. When I'm around you, the thoughts that are in my head, let me just tell you for a half
He's like,
hour
you know what?
I'm
I just
thinking.
I was tempted to say you shouldn't vote when I first walked into the room.
You know how inappropriate it would be if I said this, and this.
yeah.
Aren't
like
aren't men such pigs?
The guy's in the
Well,
party.
it really is the equivalent. Yeah.
The guy, one of these male feminists is in a party. He's looking at the women, and he goes, "I just think we should repeal the 19." I'm sorry.
I'm
It
sorry,
almost
I
got
can't
me.
help it. Yeah,
I'm
I was at
holding
a
it back.
party and I saw women and I thought it was wrong of me, but it's what I thought.
I just wanted to end women's suffrage. Why does
Haven't
that- why
they
does it-
suffraged enough?
Yeah, yes, they definitely have.
Some would say so.
Man, that's
I think you're right about DeAngelis not being familiar. Rather than be like, it's because of the race, I'm uncomfortable. It's if it's unfamiliar to you, yeah, you might be uncomfortable with something new, whether it's the height, the skin tone, the way that the posture of the body is.
I don't think that's
know.
what she was saying though.
Yeah, and that's it's weird. I think maybe she's just like never met a black person before she wrote these books.
That I can understand. If you grew up in a cloistered environment around one color and size of human, and then you go to an environment where a bunch of all humans are a different shape
What?
and size and color.
Why size? She
Bro, I
I
wasn't-
wasn't in the Shire, bro.
Probably, yeah. Well, she is a hobbit.
Came out of her little
Bro,
hobbit
dude.
hole.
I don't feel uncomfortable going to Thailand. Like noticing that people were shorter than me. Like
Also,
it's meaningless.
She might have been beat up as a kid, not even as racially. Just she might have been abused as a child, so she has fear in general in her life, unresolved fear or something.
I think it's just that she's racist, but you have closed communities that have negative views, and then you have elitist racist views. So like she probably grew up in this hoity-toity like white community with her mom being like, oh, talk down to people, condescend, you're so much better. And it like the whole ideology of these people is that they are better. Like, no joke. It is a form of white supremacy. Not in the same sense they try to convey, right? So their version of white supremacy makes little sense. They're like prejudice plus power.
Yes.
But when you think about the core of their ideology, that they think that white people hold special privileged positions and have more power and more control, and they literally tell minorities they can't succeed, I'm like, bro, I think you're a white supremacist. You know what I mean?
Well, I think for some of them, what it is, it's sort of the phenomena you see with the kid who didn't do that poorly on a test, but they complain about how poorly they did. Like, they want you to think that they think their grade is bad. So someone will get like an A- and go, oh, I did so bad on this. And then you ask how they did and they got an A-. So they're saying they did something bad, but it's really for the purpose of signaling how great they are. That's kind of what I think.
It's
it is.
not nice
Oh,
to
I was racist, but I'm aware of it.
you're talking about Asians, right?
What?
Maybe.
How they get A's instead of A pluses, and then I'm sorry. It's funny to me. It's very funny to me. I had a friend who was Chinese, valedictorian, amazing grades, perfect, right? Cried about getting an A- on one of her finals. I'm like, are you kidding me? I would kill to have a C on anything. That's the end of my joke, but it's not a joke.
Just-
Totally true.
yeah.
Asians are
Work
smart.
harder.
Da-da-ts.
I think hold on. But think about this. You grew up in a household where you feel shame for not getting a perfect score.
Oh yeah, the strictness in reality, the strictness of these parents are just like
yeah,
out of
yeah,
control.
And if you're happy with getting a C like George and I, you become a cartoonist.
Have you ever, hold on. Have you ever played those like mobile games where you gotta like it's like a puzzle game? There's one game I play sometimes. It's like you press the start button and water comes out, but you have to like draw a ramp to like get the water to go into
Dude,
the
I
bucket.
see those ads constantly.
Okay, now hold on. So like it's I forgot what it's called, but like a water faucet, you'll draw a picture. Like you can draw lines, and the water follows the line. You try to get to like ramp up into the bucket, and you have to get 3 stars. When I get 2 stars, I redo the level. I'm like, you didn't beat the level unless you get all 3 stars. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's not how I work.
You just get 1 star.
Ian's
and
like,
you're
I'm
I'll do
going.
it, all of them first, and then I'll go back and like
And do it
try and
better.
get 3 stars on the ones that I didn't.
Bro, you
Yeah,
should have
this girl-
seen me beat Sonic the Hedgehog earlier. I didn't care how many rings I got. I was like, to the end of the level.
Yeah,
Doesn't
see,
matter
I
what
have
the
to get
score is.
literally every ring in the game. Otherwise, I start the whole thing over.
You start
No,
over.
not that much.
You unplug the arcade machine.
But it's like if you don't, if like I got one game where you have like a little guy and he does a backflip, and you tap the screen and he jumps, and you tap it again and he tucks, and then you let go, and then he lands the backflip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to get in the ring, perfect max score every time. And if I don't, I just keep restarting until I do it. It's frustrating. Like, I feel like if I don't get a perfect score, I didn't beat the level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry about it.
Do you think that's a nature or nurture thing? I've always...
Man, this is interesting. I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I definitely grew up in a household where before I even started kindergarten, my mom was teaching me math and reading.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I started kindergarten. I knew multiplication and division and long division, all that stuff. Like all the other kids were like 2 + 2 is 4, and I was like 27 times 493, and I could do the math. You know.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a cultural thing.
Did your parents expect like greatness out of you and punish, or not punish you, but like be like, it wasn't good enough if you didn't get the perfect score, or were they just kind of
At
like
the
hands
level,
off?
at the video game, they made him replay video game levels if he didn't beat it completely.
No, but there was this game we used to play in first grade called Around the World.
Oh, I love that game. Yeah.
You know what it is? Like,
Yeah.
so you stand up at your desk, and then you stand behind the person with your hands on their shoulder, and then the teacher would do a flashcard. Me and my brother would never lose, so the
Yeah.
teacher would eventually ask us to stop playing.
Oh man.
Because it's like first grade, and show the card, and be like, boom, I know the answer. 7, 14, 3. And
Isn't
so
that
like,
ridiculous? What an example of how public schools busted. The smart kids
no,
can't play.
This was Catholic school.
Or
This was
even
private Catholic
Catholic schools busted. The,
Yeah,
the
the
kids
whole
that are
system.
so good can't
But what
participate
were
because
they
they ruin it for everyone else.
What were they supposed to do?
I don't know. I
Like,
had the
we
same thing in
get-
typing class.
They're like, Tim, we get it. You know your math. Have a nice day. Like, you won. Here's your prize. Now go play with your prize. Like, the other kids got to learn math too. So what is it? It's interesting, right? So I'm literally Asian and I'm good at math.
I've had this theory for a long time
It
because I
offends
grew
me
up.
that you said that, Tim.
I'm allowed to say it.
Well, I grew up around a lot of Asian kids, just in the area that I lived in. So I would go to their houses and see how their parents interacted with them a lot. And I had this theory of like, from certain countries when they were immigrant parents, they understood how hard it was to climb the social ladder, let's say. A lot of immigrants start with very little, let's say. So their parents know, like, you have to study ultra hard. I'm going to push my kids super duper hard because we're going to like leapfrog up. You're not just going to be a normal person. I'm going to like train my kid to be, like, for instance, I grew up, I won't say the towns, but I used to tutor kids after school and stuff with art and whatnot. A lot of Asian parents would not let their kids come home after school. You have piano practice, art practice, whatever, all kinds of different practices. They would push their kids. You weren't even allowed to come home. You had to go to the library after school. Like, I noticed the way that they raised their kids a lot, and the kids resent it at first.
Yeah,
But then they kick so much butt as they get older.
I do remember, you know, when I was a kid, like, my mom like drew a picture. It said, if at first you don't succeed, try again, and like those that messaging. I also remember being like 13 and trying to learn how to kickflip. And by choice, I stood outside my house for like 8 hours every day. Kickflip, heel flip, like skateboard tricks, right? So heel flip is when you pop the board and then with your heel, you kick it and it flips. One day I could just do it. It was like it came naturally to me. Everybody kind of has the tricks they're just natural at. But kickflip, like one of the most basic tricks everybody can do, I struggled with. And no one made me do it. There was no prize. There was no parent sitting there saying you have to land it. It was just like one day I went outside with my board for 8 hours just trying, and I was frustrated. I was angry. I could never get it. It made no sense to me. And then I remember the first day I finally landed it, and I landed it crooked, and I was like, yeah, I did it. No one told me to do it. I wasn't forced to do it. I got no prize for it other than my own. So I wonder, you know, I think everything's a little bit of nature and nurture.
Yeah.
And for me especially, I don't think there was something in my life that I can't recall other than maybe just being around hardworking parents that maybe I don't realize how much that really did rub off on me. But there's a lot about me, obviously, where I'm just like, I have to do it. It has to be perfect.
Yeah, it's similar with me in drawing and stuff, and I'm sure, Seamus, you can agree. There's a certain satisfaction to setting a goal for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And then realizing, wait, I did that, but nobody taught me how to do it. There's just some miracle of this feeling of hard work equals results, and if I keep doing this one thing over and over, like, I'm a huge fan of the 10,000 hour rule, let's say.
Yeah.
If anyone asks me, how do I get good at drawing? It's like, well, have you drawn 10,000 hours? Get started, or continue down the road. But that lesson, I don't think it's necessarily racial in the sense of like, it can be passed from parents to kids or something like that. I don't think, maybe some people are born with it, some aren't, but I don't like that there's a cultural excuse of I'm born in a position where, let's say some people are more ahead of me than I am. I don't like the excuse of, well, I'm just not going to try because I was given a bad hand at birth, or
That's the narrative of the left, man.
Yeah.
But it's
It's
such
not your fault. Don't try.
But it's such a lie. It's such a you're playing yourself if you think that you are not in control of your future. If you keep trying to do something, just one thing, pick one thing you love.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it, and eventually, like, I didn't make my big break or whatever in cartooning until 2 years ago. I'd been drawing. I made my debut or whatever back in 2006.
Exactly.
I couldn't get a job in comics until 2 years ago.
It takes
a lot of people don't know this, but before Seamus started Freedom Tunes, it was Commie Tunes.
It was Commie Tunes.
It was
I was
all
actually a
pro-communist.
far left activist, and then I was like, all right,
That's
I'm
how
going
I
to try to
found
be
him.
a little bit more moderate, so I made Biden Tunes. And I've said this before.
Which
I was
is-
a huge
which is
Biden
good,
fan.
which is
Yeah,
better.
Which was good. But then at one point I was like, you know what? I've got an idea. Let's try Freedom Tunes, and I'm here today. But I mean, I agree
The
with
grift
you.
paid off. You
The
finally
grift
pandering
paid
to the
off.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny because it takes a really long time to become successful in anything, and for me, it wasn't just drawing. I mean, I'm pretty mediocre at just like the raw art of like drawing something photorealistic. I'm much more into cartooning. I used to be a lot better at drawing in college when I was doing it consistently. But the point is, for me, the payoff was trying to see how quickly I could get something done that looked decent, and that skill set obviously turned out to pay out for me because we're uploading stuff all the time, and that's a huge strategy for our growth. But yeah, I hear that. On the other hand, there's very much a nurture component to it. How much were you pushed as a kid to not give up? How many virtues were you instilled with? But there is a nature part of it, which is how interested are you in the thing
Passion.
to begin with? Exactly.
Yeah.
I think parents can give kids drive. I think
Absolutely.
if parents just make their kids stick to something, it helps.
And
Whatever gets your butt in that seat for 10,000 hours, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
Oh, I was told that I could do it, which is why I believed I could. Otherwise, I never would have tried.
Okay. My parents never they never pushed me to do art, or actually, like, it's a funny thing. I was told
Wait,
to do
your
everything.
parents never
except-
pushed you to do art?
Nobody pushed me.
No, I'm giving you a hard time. I mean, I think
no,
most
no.
people's parents are like, please don't do art. Do
It's the
anything
weirdest.
besides art.
My whole life, it's been that story. No, for real. Like, I tried to go to art school. They're like, why don't you go to like real school? Though? Like,
Exactly.
can you get a real degree and then just do art on the side? But there was just something in me that said, I have to do this, and this is the only thing I can do. I'm not good at anything else.
This is I think one of the biggest problems with modern society, especially for young people, is the obsession with college. So after Occupy Wall Street, and I'm featured in, I get all this press. I'm featured in magazines. I still had family being like, "Will you go to college now?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Why?
No, I'm going to college right now. I'm on
How
my
old
way.
were you?
25.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to college right now. I'm on my way to give a guest lecture to the PhD course on journalism.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what do you think I would learn when I'm the one being brought in to like teach these people things they don't know?
Dude, Stephen Colbert got an honorary degree after he was just Stephen Colbert the goofball on TV. They were like, we love him so much, we're going to give him a college degree for that.
I know art school dropouts who they dropped out of art school and then later they got a degree, honorary degree, something like that, and they ended up teaching at that school.
Yeah,
I
art
wanna-
school's
let's-
a weird thing. You should really only go to it for the skills you're going to pick up. The degree probably isn't going to
That
do a
and
lot for it,
networking.
Yeah.
Let's-
Yeah, networking is the biggest advantage to it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.